ready to learn about online courses today because that is what we're talking about. And before we get started, if we haven't met yet, my name is Melissa Griffin, and I have a company that helps entrepreneurs to grow their business and their mindset. So I talk a lot about things like online marketing, online courses, how to grow your email list, how to engage with your people, and how to really create a company that fuels your vision in the world, that helps you create a bigger impact, that helps you leave a legacy and a mark on this planet. So today, we're talking about online course launches. So I launched my very first online course about 5 years ago. And I really at the time had no idea what I was doing. I kind of launched it on a whim, hoping that it would work, and it ended up working out really well. But that was my very first launch. And obviously, the first time you do anything is not going to be your best performance. So I've learned a lot of things about how to do online courses really well, how to do launches really well over the past 5 years. I've had, I don't even know how many at this point, but ranging from $25,000 in revenue all the way up to six figures, almost near seven figures with one single launch of an online course. So I know a lot about what works and what doesn't. And I've also helped thousands of students in my online courses and in my community to create and sell their own online courses. And so it's the inside of different launches. And that's why I'm excited to talk about this with you today, because there's a lot that I can say, and I have a lot of experience of what I want to share that I think could be really helpful for you. So if at any time you have a question or more clarity, or you just want to say hello, I would love it when you leave a comment below this video. Tell me where you're tuning in from. But when you do leave a comment, I don't always see the name. So I'm using this cool software that allows me to add a funky title and broadcast this into different locations. So I don't always see your name. So put your name inside of the comment, as well as it might be on Facebook or YouTube, but just put it inside of the comment too, so that I can give you a little shout out. But do tell me where you're tuning in from. And if you have any questions along the way, please ask them, because I love for this to be like a back and forth conversation. Just going to move this down a little bit. Okay, so let's talk about, why do online course launches fail? Where do they go wrong? And how can you actually not make those mistakes, that you don't have that happen with your online course launches? So the first thing that I want to talk about is your messaging. And I personally think that this is one of two you could possibly do for an online course launch, is get your messaging right. And really, for any business, whatever it is that you're selling, if your messaging is off, if you're not talking about your thing, your course in this case, in a way that really resonates with people, and especially with the problems that they're having, then you're not going to make sales. Even if you have the most incredible course, even if you have the most insane credentials, the best experience, if you don't know how to message what you're talking about, then it's not going to go very well. Think of it as like your online dating profile. Like, if you just throw up a description of yourself with half-hearted photos or something, then people are not going to be interested. So you have to learn how to message. How do you talk about yourself? You talk about who you are and what you do and all the things in a way that people will be like, oh yeah, I can get behind that. It's the same thing for when you're creating and launching products online as well. So in terms of messaging, number one is, are you speaking to the exact problem that your people are having? Or are you speaking to potentially a different problem? It might seem like the same, seems similar to what they're challenged with or what they need your help with. But if you're not speaking to the exact struggle, the exact thing that they really want to fix, that they really want to learn more about, then they're going to feel like your program is out of alignment, that you don't really get what they're experiencing, what they're going through. So for example, I have an online course that teaches Pinterest marketing. And if I marketed that course, and by the way, the course teaches Pinterest marketing to help you get more visitors to your website. It helps you grow your traffic so that more eyeballs are coming to your website, signing up for your email list, and ultimately hiring you or buying your products. That's the gist of the course in a nutshell. But if I messaged that course as, well, come learn about Pinterest, learn how to use social media to grow your business. Okay, that's quite vague, right? And people don't exactly know the exact problem that I'm helping them with. They just think I'm going to be learning about Pinterest, which is really not the gist of the course at all. The course is meant to help people grow their traffic to their website so that they can get more subscribers and sales for their business. So I wouldn't talk about it as here's a Pinterest course, because if I did that, people wouldn't be interested because it just isn't solving the problem they need. Don't know the method that they need. They just know the problem that they have. And this is where people can go wrong with messaging too, is they will describe their program in terms of the method. What's the method that you teach in your program? And that's how they'll describe it versus the problem that they solve. So for me, with my Pinterest course, the method of getting more traffic and subscribers is Pinterest. But if I talked all about Pinterest as the method, then it wouldn't land as much with people because they don't even know what the method is that they need. They just know that they have a problem. So you need to be talking about the problem and making that the core focus of the messaging that you have instead of talking about the method, or instead of talking about some like esoteric different problem that maybe isn't what they actually need help with. Another thing in terms of messaging is that you want to be using their language. You want to use their language. So let's just use the Pinterest course as an example again. Let's say that my community always says it this way in terms of their problem. I just don't have enough traffic to my website. And they use that word traffic. Well, if I was always talking about that course and saying, grow your page views, get more visitors, get subscribers, and they're over there thinking, well, I just want traffic. That's what I want, is traffic. And that's how they're talking about it. That's how they talk about it with their friends. That's how they talk about it in Facebook groups. That's how they think about it inside of themselves when they're thinking, gosh, if I really knew how to get more traffic, then this wouldn't be so hard. Then they would not gravitate towards my course if I'm talking about page views and visitors and SEO, because that isn't the same thing. Even if you're talking about the same things as your community, if you're not using the same words and phrases, then there will be a misalignment, and they'll feel either like your course doesn't solve the problem that they have, even if it does, or they'll feel like you just don't really get them. And they don't want to buy a course from somebody who doesn't get them. They want to feel seen and understood, because if they feel like you see them and understand them, then they're going to get better results because you really understand where they're coming from. So you can really help them get to where they want to go. And then the last thing is in terms of messaging, that you're talking about the features of your course instead of the transformation. So nobody really cares that they get lifetime access, that it has 6 modules, amazing, that it comes with a Facebook group. I mean, those are important, and I would list them on your sales page, maybe list them in an email, but that's not why people are signing up for your program. They're signing up for the promise. They're signing up for the outcome, the transformation. They want to know, is this thing that I might be investing hundreds of dollars in, or even thousands of dollars, going to solve this really major problem that I'm having, or small problem, whatever it is that you're creating a course on, but is it going to solve my problem? So they don't really care so much about the features that come with your course. But there are ways to use bonuses and whatnot to enhance the value of your course. So that's another topic. But don't focus so much on the features when you talk about your program. Focus much more on the transformation. And you can do this by first talking about your transformation using what it is that you're teaching inside of this program. So if you have used these methods and gotten great results, talk about that, about where you're using these methods. Talk about where you're at now. If you have clients or customers who have used these methods from you before, talk about their stories. You can also write stories from sort of the perspective of the people who would be reading your sales page or reading your emails by telling a story that's like, do you ever feel like this? Have you ever had this problem? Have you ever woken up and wished this thing didn't exist? And really just speaking to how the person reading may be feeling right now. And to show them well, here's what your life could look like. Here's what this part of your life could look like if you were able to transform it, if you were able to get the outcome that this program is going to teach you. So not so much talking about the features, but talking about the transformation, the promise, the outcome. And hello to everybody who's joining. Just give a few shout outs here before we move on to the next point. Hi, Maria. Hello, Felicia. Woohoo. Hello, Evie. Hi. Hi, Steffi Morales. Hey. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Craig. Hi, Ahmad. Hi, Suzanne. You. And like I said in the beginning, if you have any questions at any point, just leave a comment. I love to answer your questions, and I love for this to be a conversation too. What do you do if your messaging is off? What if you've created a course and it didn't, or what if you are in the planning stages or the ideating stages of wanting to create a course and you're like, oh crap, well, I don't know how to message it. I don't know what to say. What do I say to make sure that people are going to be interested in this thing and to see the transformation that's possible for them? Well, the next step will to play. So the next step in terms of why some people just don't go according to plan and what you can do to that is to do your research, And so what ends up happening a lot of the time, if a course launch doesn't go very well, is that you didn't create the course that they wanted. You created the course you thought they wanted, but it ended up not being the one that they actually wanted. And there's two variations to this. Sometimes it actually is that you create the course that they really wanted, and you got to go to the drawing board and create new or just change something this program. Or it could be that you did create the course that they wanted, you just didn't message it in a way, you didn't brand it, talk about it in a way where people really got what this course is all about. So there's two ways that this could go. That it is the right course, just talked about in the wrong way, or that it's not the right course and something about it needs to be adjusted. But how do you know what the right course is to make? So I have a few different methods that I teach about how you can figure out exactly what kind of course your people want and how you can talk about it, like actually using the phrases that they use and talking about it in the exact way that they talk about it with their friends and on Facebook groups and all of these different things. So the first step is to do a survey. And you've probably heard this many times before from me and maybe other people as well. But this is step one, not the only step. Step one, do a survey. And in your survey, I like to ask two questions. And they're basically two sides of the same coin. They ask essentially the same question, but in a different way. And it yields slightly different responses. So it gives you this like whole view of how people are talking about this thing that they really want, instead of just asking one side of this question. So here's the questions that you want to ask on your survey. The first one is, what challenges or problems are you faced to XYZ, whatever topic it is that you are considering? So maybe you are I don't know, what's a niche? Oh, I know Sarah's here who teaches figure skating. So what are some of the problems and challenges that you're having related to figure skating? Perfect. So that's one, problems and challenges. And then the other side, the other question that you want to ask is, what is your goal? What is your goal related to figure skating? And I would give a time limit, like what's your goal related to figure skating that you want to achieve by the end of 2020? Something like that, or within the next year. And so asking them about their problems and struggles on one hand, and then their goal on the other, is going to give you this perfect here's the problem that they're facing, here's where they're at, and here's so this is point Z. And now you just need to create a course that fills in of here's the problem that they start with. Okay, that's where I'm going to start the course. And then go to point Z, which is that goal that they want to achieve. And that's your course. And then it's just up to you to think about what are the methods that I teach from point A to point Z that are going to get them from that problem to that goal. And I find that this type of survey works well because then your course is basically built for you. You're just the one that's filling in the blanks. And in terms of your survey, so I use something called SurveyMonkey to create mine. And I've been using that for years. I just like their interface, and I like that they have like graphs and stuff. I just like SurveyMonkey, but there are other forms that you could use to survey. And then once you send it out, so your social media followers, your current email subscribers, put it on your website, if you have a YouTube channel or any of those things, put it everywhere that you have people who could be consuming your information or who are in your community. And if you don't have anyone in your community as of now, then find Facebook groups where your ideal customers and clients are hanging out. And inside of those Facebook groups, ask the ad post your survey and just say, I'm collecting some data because I'm working on a new program. Would it be okay if I post this in the group? Some group members or some group admins will say no, but some will say yes. And there you go. And even if you get 10, that's amazing. That's amazing. So I do have 2 other methods that are really helpful in terms of coming up with your course topic and how to message your course, all of those things. I'm going to be teaching them in my free workshop. So I'm teaching a free workshop next Tuesday, May 5th. And I'm teaching it at 2 different times, totally free. You can watch in your pajamas. And it's all about the 3 systems that you need to have a 6-figure launch of your course. Launch of your online course. So in the workshop, I'm going to on what you can do to really create a successful online course. So to sign up for that workshop, the link is the profitablecreator.com/workshop. The profitablecreator.com/workshop. Okay. So once you've created your survey, going back to that example, you're going to get a lot of responses. And then this is where you get to decide what are the ones that are coming up the most? What are the problems that people have the most? How can I really support my community in the biggest way possible? And have mentioned you're bound to succeed with your online course. You've validated, you've discovered that they actually are interested in this thing. And what's really cool too, in addition to the other 2 methods I'm going to be teaching on my workshop on Tuesday, is that from your survey, your people will respond to your questions with a problem. So they're going to be using words and phrases that your ideal customers use on the regular. Because if you think about it, a professor and a student probably talk about the topic in different ways because they're coming from a different angle. You want to make sure that the way that you're talking about this thing is coming from the angle that your people will read direct phrases, the same words that people are using. I'm seeing that there's a distortion in my voice. Let me know if it's sounding kind of funky. Yeah, let me know if it sounds funky. Hopefully we're doing okay. All right, I'm just going to move on. So the last thing that I want to say about if your launch fails, why? Why did it happen? Well, the thing that I see a lot in terms of failed launches, in addition to messaging, so far, if you're just tuning in, we've talked about how messaging your course is probably the most important thing that you can do. And researching and validating your course, very important as well. Make sure you're creating the right course and then talking about it in the right way. That, sometimes my voice breaks up. I wonder why that is. Keeps freezing. Okay, let me see here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to try to do a new one and see if it works. Cancel this one. Thank you for letting me know. I'm going to finish this one and then I'll start a new one. So just stay where you are.